Hello, good day. Welcome to another Sunday School review under the theme Pentecostal Experience Continues. Now, this Sunday, for most churches, especially those of a Pentecostal heritage, we will be celebrating Pentecostal Sunday, and it is a look back on the events that took place in Acts chapter 2 when the 120 disciples were in the upper room and they received the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. However, this year, the Sunday school focus will shift from Acts chapter 2 to 3 different events where God would have poured out His Spirit on individuals. And the main purpose for this shift, it is to remind the modern church and the modern Sunday school goer that God is still pouring out His Spirit. Pentecost did not end on Pentecostal Sunday. It is a continued experience of which anyone can be a part. Now, the first section, we're going to look at believers who received the baptism of the Holy Spirit prior or after being baptized in water. We will look at Philip going to Samaria. He would have preached like evangelists would have gone into a city or come to your church in a crusade, and he would have preached the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he said out of his preaching, persons responded. They would have probably confessed their sins. They would have professed their faith in Jesus Christ, and they would have been baptized in water. However, it is stated that having done this, it was evident that they were not filled with the Holy Spirit. And apostles were sent, and through the apostles going to Samaria, the Samaritan church received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Section 2 is going to look at a convert by the name of Cornelius, a Gentile, who God strategically allowed to be filled with the Holy Spirit. Because during the time when the early church was starting, it was believed by the apostles, who were, of course, all Jews, that in order to experience this new outpouring of God, you'd have to become a part of the Jewish church or the Messianic church and their subsequent rules and laws. However, God chose a Gentile who lived a righteous life or was living a righteous life to send Peter to this Gentile and said, go preach the gospel to him. And said that's when Peter went and he began to preach the gospel, the Holy Spirit was poured out upon Cornelius, and not just Cornelius but his household. And that is to show us that we do not need to be under the Mosaic law to receive the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. And also it shows us that it is not a set system, right? You don't have to come first and be baptized in water, then be baptized by the Spirit. It would have shown you that in this event, the individual who was seeking after God, which is Cornelius and his household, they were baptized in the Holy Spirit first and then baptized in water second. And finally is the outpouring of the Holy Spirit upon the disciples of John the Baptist. It is said that years after the church would have started and the Spirit would have been poured out, there was a group of individuals decades later who had not received the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, though they believed the message of John and though they were baptized by John the Baptist. And we see that Paul would have baptized these disciples of John, and they would have received the baptism of the Holy Spirit. The long and short of it is this Sunday school lesson, it is to remind us that we should desire the infilling and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. It is to remind us that God still desires all believers to have a empowering encounter with His presence. So I pray that as you go to Sunday school this Sunday morning, whether you have that experience personally or whether you have not had that experience personally, I pray that the discussions and the participation would stir up the hunger and thirst in all those who may not have experienced this outpouring. I want to say God bless you, and remember, Sunday school is still a keep and you need to be a part of it. God bless you.